right, the cannibal comedian. He's gonna feed you and give you a joke and maybe cook you as well. I don't know. We'll see. Well, maybe all of the above. But let's find out here with the IMDb plot what he's up to. A psychotic cannibal, fed up with the lack of ambition, takes a stab at stand-up comedy in an attempt to chase both his dreams and his victims. All right. Chasing victims is always fun. Dreams, those are tough. But anyway, let's see. This is a new film recently released on Screambox. I would like to thank them for sending me the screener for this one. So with that, we'll try to keep this fairly spoiler-free. Maybe some minor twists and turns here, so I'll try not to get too much into that, leave that for you guys to see. I would like to, on a personal note, off the top here, just say that this film here, when I put out the press release for the Screambox March schedule, and including this, I when I saw this film, I also, I kind of scrolled back to see, what else we had posted for this film. And, I know it had been a while since I put a press release for this film. And, but I know that on Instagram, the director, writer, Sean, I'm not going to say his last name, I don't want to butcher it. But he's been sharing his film with us on Promote Horror's Instagram for a very long time now, as he's been making the film and as it's been kind of coming to life and so forth. And it feels like forever. And I know it's been a while. He did send, a press release or two a long time ago. Nothing we officially promoted, but, it seems like a long time in the works and a long time coming to actually see the film. So I'm very happy to finally get a chance to have seen the film after all this, because, sometimes I share a lot of stuff and don't get to see it, especially when it's, kind of like an indie horror, not big, huge budget, big production company and so forth. And, just something that, I thank him very much for sharing the film with us on Instagram. And, we reposted, reshared on the stories and so forth for a long time now. So, it is good to finally see a final product, and not only the final product, but to see that it landed on Screambox, and I believe it's going to be on a couple other things and come out on DVD and so forth, I think, in the near future. So horror fans will get a chance to see it. Sometimes these kind of things that we share, unfortunately don't get a big release and in front of an audience of horror fans that can really, really see it, a number of them. So I'm very happy, in this case that it landed on Screambox, and lots of horror fans will get a chance to see it, because I know they put a lot of work into the film, and it's been a while. It's been a minute since they put this together. All right, so personal note over. Let's dive into the film, and let's. To kind of start, we're going to get a very, common opening. You're going to see the cannibal part of him. We're going to see him kill a victim. We're going to see some blood and guts. So gets off to a good start there. We're going to see, early on in the film, after we kind of get through that fun blood and guts part, kind of learn a little bit about the cannibal comedian here and who he is, what he's up to, and so forth. Obviously, we have the killing part. You see a little bit of the cannibal part, cooking and preparing and so forth. But, there's other things. One of the funny, there's, several things funny here. But one of the interesting things that he does is he sells meatballs on the side of the street, meatball subs and so forth. So that's kind of funny in itself, really. It's a small town kind of atmosphere here, not a lot of people coming through. So that in itself is a very, small but funny thing that they kind of add there. I enjoyed that they didn't overdo it there. You see him, a couple of times, kind of doing that. So not overdone. Kind of perfectly inserted there as a side job, side hobby, whatever you want to call it, that he's up to there. When he's not chopping people up and not practicing his comedy. I think one of the obvious things, if once you guys kind of see this, for those who might have seen this already, is he's obviously very similar to Leatherface. You're going to get that a little bit of that Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe. Obviously, not he's obviously different than Leatherface. Obviously, once he takes off the mask and whatever, he's kind of just a regular person. Outside of the killing and eating people. But you would look at him, see him as a normal guy, and so forth. He can just mosey through town and whatever, and you see that later on. And nobody's really going to say anything to him. But you're always going to get that kind of Texas Chainsaw vibe, or let's say Leatherface vibe from him, with the outfit kind of he wears. He does put on a mask when it's killing time and so forth. So you would kind of get that vibe to it, but it never really oversteps there. Never really becomes hey, it's just a different version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The film is on its own, but there are that similarity to Leatherface there. So he's gonna go through. We're going to see some deaths. Obviously, he's gonna do his cannibal thing in there. This is horror comedy here, so we gotta get some horror in there. So we get to see some victims, some blood, and so forth. But I think that the main thing as we're going to is him eventually going to become this comedian. So there is a local small bar, small little club there, where they have nights where they have stand-up comedians, and they can come and do their set and so forth, and it's open to everybody, even if you're a comedian or not. So he's gonna go and give it a try, and he does, and he's decently received. Obviously not a big, huge audience or anything like that, but so forth that he gets to go back. So he gets to go back a couple of times. He kind of befriends the bartender a little bit. He's trying to get a feel for the place and what's going on there. And he also befriends the owner there, who also likes to think of himself as the lead major comedian there, and so forth. So, as the cannibal comedian kind of goes there a couple of times and, has, maybe a slight build of the audience there, maybe that doesn't sit so well with the owner, and, things develop from there. So I won't go too much into, what happens later on and so forth in the film. We'll leave that for you guys to check out. I should say one other, thing going on here in the plot and story is that he does take a woman hostage, and she's, or I should say captive, and she's kind of his captive audience at home, and in his home there, as he uses her to maybe practice a few lines and so forth, and obviously use her to also taste some food, cannibal food or not, you'll have to see. But as for the film itself, like I already mentioned, blood and guts are fun in it. All seemed practical, effects wise. They didn't shy away from anything. There's some really gory scenes and so forth. Chopping people up and so forth. So they don't shy away from the blood and guts. So you get that. So if you guys like blood and guts like I do, you're going to get that. And all that cannibalness that you want to see. But obviously what sets this film apart is the comedian part, and obviously his character being a comedian as well. And if you're into maybe some kind of corny jokes or whatever so forth, this might land for you. I know that turns off some people. I thought he was rather funny. I thought his jokes were pretty good, and his sets were pretty good up there. So obviously they did a good job writing cannibal jokes, whether they were all original or not or wherever. however they came up with them. Um, we get to see him on stage a couple of times. And personally, I thought he was pretty funny. And obviously, it's a unique act seeing someone, he does go on stage. He's dressed in, kind of his butcher outfit, all, kind of bloody and so forth. So um, he kind of, lets it roll and goes into that. So, he doesn't try to go outside of that or give jokes, outside of that kind of experience. So I thought, it was pretty entertaining and pretty funny. And, they also, keep it to a, kind of like as if you were going to a club. It's not a long set or anything. So I thought, they kept the jokes to a good kind of, he gets a couple in here and a couple in there as they show him up on stage. Um, and then even with his victims, I think you'll see, like I said, he tries some jokes with the woman he has captive, and he'll try a joke here or there too. So, I think they keep you on your toes with the comedy part. I'm not going to say that any of it maybe, drop you off your chair, funny. But I think, kind of corny jokes, but good corny jokes. I think is probably the best way to kind of go about it. Some may make you just kind of smile, and others might get you to, give a pretty decent laugh. Again, if you're just not into, those kind of things, because, it might not be for you. But, comedy is received in different ways from different people. So I did, kind of like this, I think, it's a character that is kind of created that we don't really see. It's not really a common character. And a comedian is not a common character in horror movies. Obviously, you get a lot of characters that are funny just in themselves, or weird or awkward and whatever. But this one's actual comedian. So it is good to kind of see a different one, and then you combine that obviously with a cannibal. We've seen plenty of cannibals in horror movies. So I like, that we were able to see, something a little bit different here. And, I thought they did a really good job of kind of balancing, giving you, the blood and guts, and, not getting away from the fact that he's also a comedian, and that's what he wants to do, and that's the ultimate goal. So I thought the actor here who plays the cannibal does a really good job. And, not a whole lot of other characters that are with him for extended period of times. Like, he has one friend, and then a couple of people he meets in the bars. So he is almost standalone, besides for the people he's killing. So he does a pretty good job of holding the fort down in the film. I guess another thing to say, and some people want to know, in case for those who have not seen the film, and maybe you're curious, it might be a small spoiler, but let's give you another encouraging reason to maybe see the film is that at the end of the film they do tease that there will be a second part to it. So I know sometimes people are encouraged to see films if they know there's going to be a sequel. So at least that's what's teased at the end of the movies. Whether they actually do it or not, time will tell. But that is definitely teased at the end of the movie. So, kind of sit still. The movie will kind of seem like it's going to end, but then, they're going to give you kind of, a pause, and they're going to kind of reinforce that there might be more to it. And obviously, I think in the way it ends, you kind of see like, no, there's got to be something more going on here, and so forth. So there is, or at least they plan that there is going to be. So if that kind of helps you, encourages you if you've not seen the movie yet, and gives you another reason that you might want to be interested in it, and there it is. So you can watch it now and hopefully catch a sequel at some point. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to come out, because like I mentioned at the top, it seemed like forever for them to put this one and get this one up and going and out, and so forth. So with that, I'm very pleased with the movie, and pleased with what they did. It didn't end up being a disappointment. It didn't end up just being hey, we we finally got it done, and we throw it up there and hope people like it. You know, it definitely, I think, you know, you can, after watching it, I think you see why Screambox got it, why it ended up there. I think, you know, it will, you know, slowly kind of gain an audience there and so forth and build. And, you know, hopefully when they do a sequel, you know, it'll just be the punctuation mark to the good story here. So I think at the end of the day, I'm going to give this 3.5 pools of blood. You know, nothing major to complain about. I liked the humor. I thought it, you know, it fit. The corny jokes kind of fit. It fit for him as someone who's not a professional comedian. It kind of fit. You know, you know, they didn't overdo it. You know, they can give, you know, this tremendous performance up stage, and you're like, what the hell? He should be like in New York doing this instead of here. It kind of fit, you know, him being a cannibal, him in a small town. And I was amused by the jokes. Again, you know, that'll be up for you guys to see. And of course, you know, if you're, you know, really not interested in jokes, there is blood and guts in the film. There's that. And so if you are into blood and guts, you can enjoy that as well. I did. And so you get a little bit of both of that. So again, that's going to be 3.5 pools of blood out of 5. And congratulations again to everybody behind the film. And thank you for sharing not only the screener, but, you know, following along the experience here of sharing the film. So with that, horrorsgorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews written in video. Certainly plenty of video reviews for a while now, so you can like and subscribe and do everything else that everybody wants to do here on YouTube. But if not, no worries, it is okay. I thank you for your time regardless. Twitter, Facebook information down below. Follow, like there as well. You can talk about this movie, other movies, horror, and definitely in the comment section once you guys see this. You know, let us know. Let me know, you know, what your thoughts. Do you think it's funny? Do you think it was bloody? Did you like it? Looking forward to a sequel or not? Feel free to put that there as well, and I will also try to remember to put up a link to give you guys a little bit more information about the film down below as well. So if you're not really sure where to catch it or so forth, definitely there. Like I said, I don't have it in front of me, but they are definitely on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you can definitely search for them there as well. So with that, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.